Hello everybody, Tony Pellegrino with GenRight Off-Road, and today's show is to talk about gas tanks. So gas tanks were my very first product that I ever did. It was born out of my own necessity. I had put a Dana 60 rear end in the back of my YJ, went out the driveway, and bam, that rear end hit the tank, the stock tank, mind you, with an aftermarket skid plate. And I realized, hey, this isn't gonna work. I talked to a few people, everybody said, oh yeah, we just shortened the wheelbase a little bit, and I was like, no, that is absolutely the wrong way to go. I'm putting a bigger axle in to run bigger tires. You want a longer wheelbase. Shortening the axle was absolutely not an option. I designed and built a tank that had a recess in it to allow the bigger rear differential to clear the gas tank, mated it with a steel skid plate, and this baby was born. It accepted the factory YJ pump module. We reused all factory Mopar vent valves and gaskets, and that tied back into the charcoal canister and the evap system. We did billet machined fittings to accept all the factory hoses, and basically it was a replacement tank with a slightly different shape. And we included things like baffles so that the fuel didn't slosh from side to side. These little holes just allow the fuel to move slowly, and things like this were really game changers in the whole design of the tank. And then on top of that, we held the whole thing in with stainless steel straps to lock them into the skid plate so that in the event of any kind of trouble, that tank would stay with the skid plate. So really innovative for its time. Keep in mind, this was 20 years ago we did this. And now we make tanks for CJs, YJs, TJs, LJs, JKs, XJs, and JLs. So we've got a wide range. And by the way, there's 30 different models in all of that. So we do some with extra capacity. We do some that give you extra room. So you can go over on our website and check out all the different varieties we have for your vehicle. You can go to shop by vehicle, or you can just go straight to products, and that'll take you right to gas tanks. So now I know you're wondering yourself, why does this apply to me, right? Well, if you wanted to carry an extra 5 or 10 gallons of fuel without having to wrestle with gas cans, one of our gas tanks may be the right solution for you, because it keeps it all down low, protected with a skid plate. You're not having to mess with fuel and transferring fuel. Or if you want to stretch your wheelbase, just like I was showing you here, where you could move that rear axle back, a bigger rear axle on top of that, move it back, and we make different amounts of stretch, 3-inch, 5-inch, 7-inch, 9-inch. We've got all kinds of different options for you. Or if you want a 4-link rear end, like one of the current, JK or JLs, you're gonna need one of our tanks. You gotta move it from the side, get rid of that, move it to the rear, and again, still reuse all your factory fuel pump, evap system, everything. And all of that is a function of going to bigger tires, right? So you want to run bigger tires, you need to upgrade your suspension, go with a long arm, go with a 4-link, stretch it, all of these things. Now I know you're watching this and you're going, okay, Tony, how does this apply to me? Why do I want a gas tank? Well, actually a gas tank should be the first thing you change, because it sets the stage for everything you want to do to your Jeep after that. And here at GenRight, we believe in doing it right the first time. So if you change your gas tank, say you're driving a JK or a JL, what it does is it allows you to put a bigger axle in, a 4-link suspension, run bigger tires, right? It's setting that stage for you to do all that. If you're driving an older Jeep and you want to stretch it, then the gas tank allows you to move that rear axle back, set the shock towers, do a 3 or 4-link, whatever you want in the rear, and then you're going to really be setting that stage again for building your Jeep right the rest of the way. Again, going to bigger axles is probably one of your goals because you want to go to bigger tires, right? So the other side of it would be, you're going to stretch the wheelbase, you're going to full length the rear end, you're going to bigger tires. You're also going to put in a V8 or convert over to fuel injection, right? Those are all things by having an in-tank fuel pump that are going to help, and this gives you the ability to do that. Lastly, maybe you just want a bigger tank. Maybe you just want 5-10 more gallons of fuel, and what that's going to do is allow you to carry it in the tank that's mounted underneath. You're not wrestling with gas cans. We offer aluminum skid plates, steel skid plates. Like I mentioned, they're all strapped in with stainless steel, a single strap or double straps, and they retain your factory fuel pump along with the factory Mopar vent valves, 2 of them on each side, really nice. All these things reattach to your evap system, your charcoal canister, and are not going to give you check engine lights on your dash or mess with your OBD2 system. So a lot of things have been incorporated in here that really make putting one of these gas tanks in super easy, and like I said, it sets the stage for everything else that you want to do on your Jeep. All right, let's go and start talking about the specific models. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. Okay, so here's a good example. When we did our Tracer LJ, we came up with a 7-inch stretch tank that holds 26 gallons. So even though you're getting the stretch, you're still able to carry a large amount of gas. Over the years, we've been able to better design each of these tanks and maximize the space that's underneath the Jeep. And I'll give you an example. So we start out with our EXT that gives you like 4 to 5 inches of stretch. All of this depends on the rear axle you have. Our Comp, or New Comp, which is 6 to 7 inches. Our Alien, 8 to 9 inches. Our Extended Range, which gives you 5 more gallons. Or our Safari, which gives you 11 more gallons. All of these, you can see, come with their own skid plate. They have the straps. They've got the vent valves in them. They're pre-plumbed, ready for you to just drop in your fuel pump and attach to the charcoal or evap system. So really, really nice. Now on a TJ, you've got your 9702, you've got 0304 or 0506. All of those models are grouped so you get 3 different years in each model. So you just need to know that when you go over to our website. All right, so here's a great example. We get this question all the time. What if I'm running a 14 bolt? What if I'm running a Curry or a Sterling or a Pro Rock 80? This shows you exactly how much stretch you can do. So basically, it's 5.75 inches with everything, except for the Curry, you can get 6 inches. And that's why we chose to run the Curry in all of our builds, because we're able to maximize everything with that. But you can see it works with all the different axles, and that the shape we've done of that big cutout really allows you to get some clearance and move that rear axle back. All right, so here you can see that same tank in the Jeep, and you can see that cutout, how it goes right around the differential and how close it is to the axle tubes. That's how we maximized all the space. There's a great example of a nice, each of our skid plates comes powder coated. The tank's already installed in it, and it's ready to go. So really, really nice factory looking fit. Again, we talked about, the foam lined skid plate that the tank fits inside, the stainless steel strap, the billet machined bungs and fuel pump adapter, and then the factory Mopar vent valves that tie into your system. Another view of that same tank, this one's a slightly different model year, so this would be 9702 or 0304 because it has a different pump ring on it. And again, each of these tanks is also available in aluminum skid plate. This is the steel one. So the aluminum one would just be left raw. Oh, this is a great picture too. So here's your stock tank. And then there's our tank, and that's the one that would allow you 5 inches of stretch, our EXT. So you can see how we moved this entire face back, and really allows you extra room for the exact same fuel capacity. So, and it includes a nice heavy duty skid plate where the factory one was really thin and cheesy. If you go to our website, on each tank model, we give you what's called an envelope drawing. So you can get under your Jeep and take some basic measurements and make sure that it'll fit the rear axle you've chosen and get you the amount of stretch you want. So this is our EXT. Then we've got our extra capacity, so you can check that one out. Then we've got, here's our 7-inch stretch one, so you can check that one out. You know, and again, compare, and our 9-inch stretch. You get to look at all the different dimensions. And then this is our oversized 31.5 gallon. And then let's talk about this. So we always recommend our fuel pump access plate. So this is a really nice piece that you're going to want to invest in at the same time you're changing your tank. This is made out of 3/16 steel. We pre-weld it together for you, and each one of these notches allows it to sit flush in the floor. I made this large radius on the edge, so if you're reaching in to work on your fuel pump, you won't cut your arms, and this is really strong. So even though you're cutting out a portion of the cargo area floor, when you put this in, it's stronger than what was there. So you can still stack your tools, you can stand in there, whatever you want to do, it's really nice. And then you just put the cover on, and you know, your floor is flush and flat, and you don't even know it's there. So, but if you ever need to get to your fuel pump, it is really nice. Now, on a JK or JL, it comes with that because there's a recess in the floor that you need to take out, and we already give you a cover plate, so you're getting a fuel pump access panel. So that's pretty nice too. So those are all options with each tank as well. This is another plate we offer for those guys with an LJ, and this plate allows you, by stitch welding it in here, allows you to cut out the faux cross member that exists in an LJ, and you can move the entire tank back. So you can still run a 25-gallon tank and move the rear axle back up to 5 inches. So we give you guys a bunch of different options for whatever you're trying to do. And again, just check out our website or call in and talk to our guys, and they can help advise you for what you want to do. Now, similar on the CJ and YJ, we offer that same tank, and you can go over to the website again and look at each one and check out the drawing. And this particular one happens to be a CJ, and if you'll notice, this has got the YJ bolt pattern plate on it. That's because we encourage all the CJ guys to switch over to an in-tank fuel pump, and the YJs are readily available, so it's a really easy switch. And that's a stretch tank. Here's a standard. This would be like a 20-gallon replacement tank for the CJ. And then here's a YJ stretch tank, and then a YJ 20-gallon replacement tank. And each one of these, again, includes a steel skid, a powder-coated steel skid, or you can get an aluminum skid upgrade. And then here's the 7-inch stretch, what we call the new comp for the YJ. And that's a real popular tank if you're doing, you know, coilovers, you know, that whole thing, outboard shocks. Okay, then in the JK and JKU, this even gets better because we've really been able to maximize, especially if you're getting our Elite suspension. So within the suspension, so with leaving the factory shock mounts, body mounts, everything, you're able to go up to a 25-gallon tank. Standard is 20, 25-gallon. Keep in mind, your factory tank is mounted over on the side. You're now going to be relocating that and putting it in the back. You can still use all your evap system and everything and just directly install this. Again, this tank, just like the one sitting here, comes with an aluminum skid or a steel skid. That's your option. And then if you want to upgrade and go to our JK Elite system, we take out this cross member in these two shock mounts, and then you can utilize all that space and go up to a 36-gallon tank. So really nice. Here's an example of that 36-gallon. This happens to be the one that I'm running in Terremoto. That's actually a complete fuel cell. So that's a rubber bladder with a fast fill, and that accepts an Aeromotive in-tank fuel pump. And in my case, I run a dual Aeromotive. So those are all options as you're doing your upgrades. And again, we give you all the envelope drawings that are on in the pictures. It's right in the pictures for each tank that we have on the website. There's the 25-gallon and the 20-gallon version, so you can check all those out. Then brand new for the Jeep JLU is our brand new aluminum tank, and this is really nice. Again, ties back into the factory evap system. This one only comes with an aluminum skid plate. We're not even making anything else an option. It is also foam lined. It also reuses the factory fuel pump, and you reconnect the filler hoses. So again, very easy to use, and this brings you up to 25 gallons. So pretty nice upgrade, and moving the tank to the rear so that you can do that 4-link that you've been wanting to. All right, then lastly, we offer a set of universal tanks. So these are what we commonly call behind the seat tanks or in the cargo area tanks. This is really a last resort because ideally you'd like to keep that tank down underneath where the center of gravity is low. These actually sit up a little bit higher. We offer these for the CJ and YJ and also for the TJ. We offer heavy duty. These are also 1/8 inch thick tabs to bolt the tank down for the CJ and the YJ to the inner fender well. And again, you can see the envelope drawing. And then for the TJ, we offer this one. Now, if you notice, both of them had this square thing with the cap down inside. That's what we call a dam. So if you overfill the tank or something happens, the fuel just doesn't run all over. There's a vented gas cap right there. And then the tank is held in place with stainless steel straps. Everybody else on the market puts these thin little metal tabs down on the bottom, and they always crack and break off, and they leak as soon as that happens because they're welded directly to the fuel tank. Not a good idea. You want straps like this. We reuse the fuel pump, and then we also show an aftermarket sending unit. So if you're not using the one with the little arm, you can use this one as a bubble style, and those are quite popular. People like those. And here's a close-up of that little fuel dam that you can see and the little rollover valve. And then on this tank, the whole thing gets a cover. And that way, if you're putting tools or throwing straps and stuff in the back of your Jeep, you don't stand a chance to hit the top of that plastic fuel pump. So all super important. And then here's we offer this little adapter ring. So if you order a CJ tank and you don't want to convert over to the YJ fuel pump module, you get a plate that looks like the YJ fuel pump module. You drill a hole in it, and then you remount your factory CJ pickup tubes and sending unit right in that. So again, we still offer that as an option for you too. And there's what the little kit looks like. You reuse the factory style YJ gasket, and then underneath there's a little O-ring that you reuse that came with your CJ fuel pump. So, all right, so the important thing is each of these tanks is what we call carb compliant. They're just a replacement tank. You're reusing all of the factory equipment, and you just put the tank in and you will get no check engine lights. You don't want to modify or start taking away smog equipment. You're just asking for trouble. Just reuse everything, and you will pass with flying colors. So the other thing I want to remind everybody is that every one of these tanks is pressure tested for 24 hours. As you know, air is thinner than liquid, so we know if it holds air, it'll definitely hold liquid, and every one of these tanks gets tested for that. The other thing I want to mention is if you relocate your tank and you can no longer, based on how much stretch you've done, need to set up a brand new fuel filler and vent, we make this nice little billet one that you can put wherever is convenient for you in your inner fender well or whatever you're doing. Super nice, got a nice O-ring on there, and super easy. And it's basically a one size fits all. You just slide the hose on to whatever size you have and then plumb it to your tank. So these come with little pieces of hose based on the one you select off our website. So check that out when you get a chance. For all of you that go, oh no, I want to build my own, or I'm going to buy some plastic tank or whatever, we do offer for the TJ, LJ, JK, JL, we offer a universal pump ring. And this is where you just cut a hole in, you sandwich this on with some silicone, and then you can adapt over one of the fuel pumps to your tank that you have. So we've given you guys lots of options. And I do want to remind you, since we started our company with this, we've got sufficient product liability insurance. We've been doing this for almost 20 years. These are very, very dialed in. The instructions are good. We know these work, and we offer 30 different models. So we've really got you covered. And if you have any questions, check out our website or just call in.